Is that difficult for you to do? I mean, do you look forward to going out there again, you know, putting yourself out there? You love the music, but the touring and all of that is it's not that nice.
Well, I love singing. I love in this business, you know, any time you spend making music is marvelous. That's what you do it for. The stuff around it can sometimes be difficult or tiring or whatever, but obviously the most difficult thing for me is leaving the kids for any length of time, whether it's 2 days or 10 days, do you know what I mean? So that can be, but I don't, for example, I only tour every couple of years, and I only go in the summertime when they're not at school, so it doesn't disrupt their school thing. And then I only go, say, work for maybe 5, 6 months of the year, but if I'm touring, I won't leave home for more than 10 days out of any month, do you know what I mean? And it's just tough, but that's how Mummy makes a living. You know,
and how do you cope with all the other stuff that goes on around you? You know, if you sneeze, you're news. You know, and sometimes you do a lot more than sneeze. But, you know, you do attract an awful lot of attention. Do you resent that intrusion, or is it part of the territory?
I've learned to stop resenting it, because there's no point, because there's nothing I can do about it. Do you know what I mean? Partly, yes, it does go with the territory, and I think in this country, sadly, I think our media here is worse than England's media ever was.
Really?
You know, yeah, I really do. I think it's quite low down. And I'm not necessarily obviously the person who, you know, receives the worst end of it, but I think some of it all goes with the territory, but some of it is, I think, is over the top and is, you know, what's the word? I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, I think there are invasions that go on in this country into people's lives by the media, which wouldn't even go on in England, you know.
Yeah. So. Are you in a particularly good place in your life at the moment?
Well, I'm always amazed when people ask me that, because it's a funny question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you see, like, there was a time when you didn't want to be out there anymore. You felt like hanging up the guitar, at least in public, and not doing it anymore. But now you're ready to go out, you're ready to...
Really, what that was about, I found it hard to carry. I had been carrying for years and years the weight of this, as I would call it, the Sinead O'Connor thing, you know, that every time I went to work, I felt I was swimming through walls of prejudice, you know, everybody treat me like I'm some kind of crazy person, you know, or, you know, if I couldn't get heard, do you know what I mean? And that was affecting how, you know, people were dealing with me, even in my life apart from work, do you know what I mean? So I couldn't carry it really anymore. So yeah, I suppose now, I guess I'm 40 years age now for a start, do you know what I mean? Which means that you stop really worrying so much about...
You don't care what people think so much.
Well, it's not so much you don't care, but you realise there's no point caring, there's nothing you can do about it. Do you know
anyway, the only thing you really should care about are the people who care about you, and if they care...
Exactly.
You know, if it's going wrong in some way, then that's a problem.
Exactly. When you're young, you don't know that, do you know what I mean? So, you know, so I think I'm old enough now to perhaps appreciate life a bit better.
When you look at someone like Britney Spears, who did, quote, a Sinead O'Connor with her hair, do you understand what kind of place she might be in?
Well, you know what I don't understand, and I find this completely insane, is that anybody would make out that her cutting her hair is an act of disturbance or insanity of some kind. I mean, that accusation is insane, actually, you know. Girls just cut their hair, like, the girls get a notion to cut their hair, next week they dye it black, the next week they dye it green, do you know what I mean?
So,
you know.
So you don't think it was because she didn't want to be that caricature, if you like, that Britney was?
No, I think it's because she was listening to my records. That's what I think. It's true, no, you know, I thought that when I saw her do it, I thought,
she's a fan of yours.
She's been listening to my record. Next thing, she was on CNN, she did some interview, and she said I was one of her idols, and I thought, oh shit, it's my fault. But she looked beautiful, the woman looked gorgeous, you know.
Yeah. Well, look, my compliments to you on the new record.
Thanks.
And looking forward to you're in. Where are you performing later in summer? You're doing.
I'm doing, what do you call it? Oxygen.
Yeah, and you're doing something with the chamber orchestra a couple of days later in Limerick
July,
as well.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks.
Sinead O'Connor, thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you so much. All right. Now, don't forget that later on, Sinead's just heading off. One of our volunteers is going to be facing his or her fears, and it's still up to you, the few minutes, to decide who it's going to be. Proceeds from calls and texts go to the relevant charities. Here's a reminder.
If you want to raise much needed funds for Age Action Ireland, then text Brenda to 53125 or call 1513 71 7201. So get texting.
If you want to raise much needed funds for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, text Joe to 53125 or call 1513 717202. Pick up that